dark memories. Presence. I was chased at night, persecuted without escape.
The night was closed, with dark clouds covering the sky like a heavy cloak. I could barely see ahead as I walked through the streets in an oppressive silence that hung over the city. The deserted streets only added to the sense of apprehension. The rain was pounding hard, and the few sounds that broke the silence were of objects being swept along by the wind. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps echoed behind me. The unmistakable rhythmic sound made me quicken my steps. I glanced over my shoulder and the chill in my stomach deepened. When I saw his shadow, a dark silhouette that followed me for a moment, I thought to keep walking quickly, trying to disappear down some alleyway. But I knew deep down that it wouldn't do any good. Something told me I couldn't run away this time. I looked at the first door, which I saw in front of me, and went in. It was an old building, the stairs of which seemed to crypt under the weight of time. I closed the door behind me and tried to hide in the darkness of the corridor. Every second was an eternity. I heard his footsteps echoing down the street, louder now. He was close. Slowly, I tried to find a safe place to hide, but there was no escape. There he already knew where I was. He came closer, unhurried, more determined. The seconds seemed endless as the sound of their approach grew clearer and more ominous. That's when I realized I needed a way out, any way out. I ran down the stairs, my breath panting and my heart racing. The steps creaked with each step, as if the building itself was giving me away. When I reached an upper floor, I found a small storage room with broken furniture and cardboard boxes strewn across the floor. Without thinking twice, I cowered behind a pile of trash holding my breath. He was standing outside, probably listening to me. Tension was in the air. Every second passed slowly, as if time was in my body, watching me hover between relief and anguish. I knew he wanted me, and he didn't. I'd give up until I found myself. Then, in the darkness and with dread gripping me, I realized that there was no refuge left, only one option left. I had to climb where he couldn't reach me, where fear could lead me. With no other choice, I started up the stairs that led to the roof of the building. The sound of my own footsteps seemed to echo off those aged walls. I knew he would come after me, but what else could I do? Doubt and anguish were consuming me, while the idea of a final confrontation paralyzed me. When I finally reached the top, the view outside took my breath away. The dark, cloud-laden sky seemed like the backdrop to my own doom. It was raining hard, and the icy wind cut my skin. The scene was heartbreaking, but I knew that this was the only place where he could not easily reach me. It was where it would all happen. The seconds before the final confrontation consumed me. I looked back, and I saw him emerge with an expression of pure anger. He was walking toward me, knife in hand. Without further words, he advanced, each step strong, heavy, determined. His menacing presence was too much for me to think clearly. I knew my only chance would be to fight. I picked up a rusty metal bar that was lying nearby, and with a swift movement, I extended it to defend the first blow. The shock of the impact was brutal, but his impulse made me falter and lose control. The confrontation turned into a game of tension and speed. Every second was decisive, and every mistake could be fatal. He was strong, stronger than me. The blows with the knife were quick and accurate. I realized I was about to get hit again, my body weakening from the exhaustion and cold that took hold of me. He raised the knife again. The moment had come when something unexpected happened. An immense bolt of lightning cut through the sky with a deafening boom, making the ground shake and creating a blinding flash. The explosion of light caused him to lose his balance, and he hesitated for a moment, distancing himself from me. A fraction of a second only that was necessary. Taking advantage of the distraction, I grabbed whatever strength was left and threw the metal bar directly into his hand. The blade of the knife flew away, and he lost his balance, falling to the edge of the terrace. For a moment, everything seemed to have stopped. He was there, motionless. Before he was carried away by his own fall, the sound of his cry was interrupted by the thunder and the rain falling hard, empty, without strength for anything else. I remained there, in the place where life and death met. I looked down, trying to process what had just happened. I had won, but the feeling of uneasiness still took hold of me. I didn't fully comprehend the situation, what this man truly sought, or why he pursued me. However, one thing was unmistakable. The night had ended, yet something far more menacing might be waiting. I departed from that accursed place, and gradually the burden of my survival seemed to paralyze me as I descended the stairs and exited the building. A sense of incompleteness still plagued me. By the time I finally put my feet on the street, a sound of sirens made me stop and look back. The police were approaching with their headlights shining brightly against the darkness. Cars, people running. The nightmare I had lived would now be part of a different kind of story. Someone might inform others, but the question lingered for me. Why me? Who was that man? What did he seek? Although I realized those answers would likely never come, a peculiar feeling resonated within me. Then, inadvertently, one final thought emerged in my mind. What if there were more like him? The story I had just witnessed abounded with unresolved enigmas. Events beyond my imagination have left an indelible mark on me. Nevertheless, the significant question remains: how many others exist? How many will undergo the same experience? If you're interested in more stories like this, filled with mysteries and unexplainable horrors, make sure to subscribe to the Dark Memories channel, where we feature the most spine-chilling tales. And perhaps you might uncover what else lurks in the darkness.